So a bit of a double header for you today, if that doesn't sound rude, it probably does. Yeah, so I've picked up some Sega Dreamcast demo discs, which is not the sort of thing I would usually buy. In fact, I don't think I've got many demo discs in my collection anywhere of anything. I've always avoided things like that because I don't think they hold much value. Tapes, yes, I've got lots of the old cover tapes from the Zap magazines and the Sinclair users and all that, and I've also got, I think I've got a couple of PlayStation 1 discs knocking away, but really demos aren't something I get involved in. They were great at the time. If you don't know what I'm talking about because you're too young, before we had all these modern consoles and whatever, the only way that companies could get you to play games before buying them was to stick demos on tapes and then 3.5-inch floppies and then eventually onto compact disc. And the idea is it would be a sampler or something. So you look at the front cover of the tape and it might say, oh, demo of RoboCop on the Commodore 64 or something daft like that. Or they give you give away free games. And that was interesting. When I got into the Amiga, you had all the monthly magazines like Amiga Format and Commodore User and things like that. They'd have the one Amiga Power. They'd have discs on the front with demos on there. Some utilities if you bought Amiga Format, so it was a bit more serious than some of the other magazines. And eventually you might find a playable demo of a game that you might want to buy. So you can try before you buy. Spend £4 on a magazine rather than spend 25 quid on a game. Good way of doing it. And then there was a magazine that came out which actually gave away free games. I can't remember what it was called now. I bought a few of them, which on the Amiga as well. Then eventually we sort of moved into the PlayStation 1 era, and of course you can't stick demo cartridges on the front of the front of magazines. It'd be ridiculous, it'd be stupid anyway. So if you had a console with a Mega Drive Master System, NES, SNES, etc., you were completely stuffed really. Same with the N64. And I think there was some Sega Saturn ones. I'm pretty sure. Somebody might correct me who knows more about these things than I do. And then when you got into the PlayStation era, we start, and I used to buy official PlayStation magazine. It had a disc on the front, and I'd have some playable demos. I remember playing things like Resident Evil. I remember playing Metal Gear Solid that way before buying the game. And then of course they'd had like demos, so like movies, what they call movies, all rolling demos, where you couldn't actually play the game, but you could see how it played and how it looked. And then moving on to their PlayStation 2 era, exactly the same thing as well. And these are Dreamcast ones, which I picked up from a local shop. I can't tell what I paid for them, so I agreed a price on them. But yeah, not the sort of thing I'd go for, but given the fact my Dreamcast collection isn't particularly big, I don't usually play on it. This might actually sort of inspire me. So, I quite enjoy playing that. If I haven't got it, I might go and get it. That's the idea behind it. So that's the first part of this video. Second part of the video, which I'll get to after this. So if you want to watch the Dreamcast stuff, that's coming up. If you want to watch the other bit, that's afterwards. Just a video I put together 2 weeks ago, which really sort of sums up my feelings a little bit at the moment of where I am. Don't worry, it's not too depressing, honestly. I'm still here. But yeah, it just I don't know, it's one of these things I have to do every now and again, just get something off my chest. And believe me, there's still other things I want to get off it as well, about how I feel about certain things at the moment. But that's it. So yeah, so it's sort of two parts of this bit and then another bit afterwards. But let's get to the games. That's why you're here. You're not here to listen to me talk. If you are, God, yeah, there's plenty of other people who's far better than I do. So I think there's 13 here. I think the original run of these official Sega Dreamcast Dream On, they call them Dream On discs, with 22 altogether. So I've got 13 here, which very much like me is like 60% of the running total of what came out. There's all sorts of random stuff in here, so if I don't know anything about them, I don't, but I can try and give you a bit more idea of what's on them by just reading the back out and showing you the picture. So the first we got here is this is disc 2, volume 2. Volume 1 incidentally was given away with pretty much Dreamcasts, called Dream On Volume 1. No, I'm not sure what's on it. I've got a copy of it somewhere. I know I have. I've seen it because I keep going, what the hell's that? So this got Sonic Adventure on it and Millennium Soldier Expendable, which I've never heard of. You've also got on here, so you've got a playable demo of Sonic Adventure and Millennium Soldier expendable. And you've got movie demos of Toy Commander, Hydro Thunder, which I've got, Buggy Heat, and Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing, and also an automatic demo of Speed Devils. Most of these are just words put together in an order which I understand nothing about. Volume 3, there we go. Now we had a rolling demo of Buggy Heat on the previous volume. We've now got a playable demo of it. You can also see the name Soul Calibur on the front. So again, I'll just open this up and just give you a bit more of an idea. There we go. So we've got playable demos of Buggy Heat and Dynamite Cop. I've never heard of Dynamite Cop. What's that one? And you've got movies of Soul Calibur. We've got NFL Blitz 2000 and Formula 1 Grand Prix. There we go. I think most of these come in the discs they actually would have come in the magazine on. Quite thin. Discs are all in pretty good condition. There's some finger marks and things on them. Nothing with a quick go over the cloth wouldn't sort out. So that was number 3. This one's number 4, and it has got Formula 1 World Grand Prix on it. Now, also interesting there, you'll notice it's got Toy Commander Xmas Edition. So this is actually an exclusive, fully playable Christmas mission just for this purpose. And you would find that magazines would do that, or companies would do that to give away free. They give away a free exclusive level. Or I think there was a famous one. Can't remember what it is. There's been a couple of them over these where they give them a lot of shortened versions of proper games, but an actual proper level to play, an exclusive level which you only get on here. It wouldn't be in the actual game itself. Now you've got more playable demos. The demos are increasing now, so we've got Toy Commander Christmas Edition. We mentioned Formula 1 Grand Prix. You can go around Suzuka and San Marino. You've got Snow Surfers, which is a radical downhill action on the slippery slopes. That one's quite good. I quite enjoy that. And then we've got Suzuki All-Star Extreme Racing, which we had a rolling demo on Volume 2. Worldwide, and then demos of Worldwide Soccer 2000, Soul Fighter, Evolution, which is the first RPG for the Dreamcast, according to this. And then also teaser exclusive footage of Metropolis Street Racer, Crazy Taxi, Zombie Revenge, and many more, which usually implies possibly one more, never usually many more. Volume 5, Revolt, which I've got. Great little, that's the game on the front there with the car. Great little sort of remote control race of that one. Really, really good fun. And Sega Worldwide Soccer 2000, which I don't think I've got. So you can play Revolt, and also you can play as Arsenal, St Etienne, or Sampdoria in the Worldwide Soccer demo. And also movies of Crazy Taxi, Rayman 2, and Deadly Skies. That's it. So, you know, if you're interested in buying a game, you look at that and go, oh, I'll pick that up. You know. Volume 6, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Rayman 2 as playable demos. So you might find it looks like you got the previous disc we had there was Rayman 2 as a movie. Now you have a chance to play it. So you can play Rayman 2, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Red Dog, which is a tank-based shoot-'em-up, which I've never heard of. Also, rolling demos of Virtua Striker 2 2000.1, NBA 2K, and Slave Zero, and also a slideshow of Echo the Dolphin. So no actual footage, just still shots. And this one's got a crack on the disc. We've got MDK2, and we've also got Metropolis Street Racer, which is a fantastic game. I keep saying that it's one of the best games to have on this system as far as I'm concerned. So MDK2 and Slave Zero. It's a rolling demo of Metropolis Street Racer on this one. But you also get footage of Soul Reaver Lane, Legacy of Kain, Wild Metal, Four Wheel Thunder, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and Deep Fighter. So they're adding more and more onto these. I said only 22 of these ever came out. This one's a bit of a bodge together, this one, sadly. This is Volume 8. And we've got Soul Reaver and Rayman 2 again on that one. But also there's a free game on this, which I'll get to in a second. Just try and get this up so you can see it. So a full original game called Sega Swirl. Now that never actually apparently came out. I think it was an online or a download or something like that. But having just read a quick wiki page about it, it was never actually available to European stores. So it's an addictive puzzler that enables you to challenge up to 3 friends at a time. So there's much choice of me playing that, is there really? Another playable demo, but of Rayman 2, but you get to play the Sanctuary of Water and Ice level. Soul Reaver, you get in here, and your movies, Hidden and Dangerous, V-Rally Millennium Edition, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That was a Japanese 2D beat-em-up, according to this. I've heard of it. Wetrix, which was a puzzle variation in 3D on Tetris, I think. And Gigawing as well. Like I said, that one's a bit of a cobbled case. There's only 13 of these. Volume 9, V-Rally 2, and Fur Fighters, which I've got on the PlayStation 2, I believe. So playable demos of Fur Fighters, 12 minutes play, and an extra rolling demo. V-Rally 2 Expert Edition, 2 tracks. You get a chance to run on here. Sega Worldwide Soccer European Edition, we get 4 teams, customisable options and weather options in the demo. And Four Wheel Thunder, 3 tracks and 2 vehicles available. You get a movie of Echo the Dolphin and Defender of the Future, and also Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Yeah, some good games here, aren't there? 3 fantastic playable demos on number 11, including Wacky Races. Now I'm pretty sure this is the one that came out of the PlayStation 2, isn't it? There was 2 on the PlayStation 2. One was by Blast, and one was a different version of it, but not the PlayStation, because I had one on PlayStation, which was terrible. But yes, you get Wacky Races, Cartoon Capers with Penelope Pitstop and the Antil Mob, Super Magnetic Ned, a whole level and a time bonus to play, and then another Toy Commander special mission called Summer Demo, and again, and you also get 2 more bonus levels, Grand Prix and the Christmas mission, which was on the original one. And you've also got movies, Virtua Tennis, Space Channel 5, NHL 2K, try saying that, and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Bit of a crack on that one at the back, but again, nicely done. And you've got 4 more of these to show you off. Got Virtua Tennis, see all these great games from the late 90s, early 2000s cropping up on these. And so we've now got 4-in-1 Grand Prix 2. So we all come full circle 12 months later. They've got another 4-in-1 game out. So we've got Virtua Tennis players, a whole set of another 4 players you can choose from, or a 2-player game of singles or doubles. Got great depth they've got, so you're getting a real opportunity to try a game out here and experience it all in one go. It's brilliant. 4-in-1 Grand Prix 2, so you could run a McLaren, a Jordan or an Arrows, gives you an idea of how old that game is, and go around Hockenheim. You've also got, Gauntlet Legends. You and up to 3 friends can take on any of the 8 heroes through 2 playable levels. I never played any Gauntlet games after the original ones in the arcade and on the home system and micros. Also movies of Virtua Athlete, Power Stone 2, and Aero Wings 2 Air Strike. Lovely. We go on to volume 13 with Metropolis Street Racer. Test drive the awesome Vauxhall VX220 in Tokyo. 4 playable demos on this. Alongside Metropolis Street Racer, you've got Sydney 2000. That's quite appropriate now we've just had the Olympics. You can go for gold in the 110 metre hurdles. You can dance with Ulala in the Spaceport on Space Channel 5, and Wacky Races, another level. You can run around Lumberjack Lake. And your movies, F355 Challenge, which was, again, I've got a disc of that somewhere. I've got a knocked off, did I say knocked off? Backup, I meant. Backup copy, which came in one of the Dreamcasts I bought years ago, just a disc that's shoved in there. You've got WWF Royal Rumble, a 9-man wrestling madness video. Pod 2, which was a futuristic online racer, and also Sydney 2000, more footage. Because we're getting towards the end here, because like I said, only 22 of these ever came out. The very last disc was just a compilation of demos they'd released on the previous 21 discs. I think that was all they got to. So we've got 14 here, which has got Ultimate Fighting Championship, which of course was around about that, around the turn of the time, the turn of the century. So we've got UFC, we've got Sega Extreme Sports, try the snowboard, hang glide and ATV events. San Francisco 2049 Rush, or Rush 2049. Try the Ghost Practice single race and stunt modes. I mean, it's practically the game in itself, isn't it? I used to love replaying the demos, even though I've finished them or got through them. I'd love replaying them. Love replaying them. Railroad Tycoon 2, 4 objectives to complete. Tokyo Highway Challenge 2. Customise 8 cars and try 2 challenges. Sydney 2000 again. Take part in the duck shoot, bench press and light wall cyber gym options. With your movies, Le Mans 24 Hour, which I've got on the PlayStation 2 and 1. It's quite an expensive game on the Dreamcast, that now. Ready to Rumble Round 2 and Sega Worldwide Soccer 2001. Described here as the footy game we've been waiting for. And then we get down to the sort of next to, not the next to last, the one before the next to last, and this is volume 20. And this one on its own goes for a few quid, certainly more than a couple of quid. It's definitely worth a bit more than that. It's got Skies of Arcadia on it. Now, I never played a Skies of Arcadia game, and it's sort of the game I would never actually touch. But I thought, you know what, they were going to sell this separately, and I said, oh, they offered me a price, and I said, okay, chuck it, and I'll have it as well. So we've got Skies of Arcadia, play through the opening stages of Sega's spectacular new role player. We've got 18-wheeler American Pro Trucker. Those are your demos, and probably in the way, probably because of the size of the demo, I don't know, got very little on here apart from some movies for Shenmue 2, fantastic 4-minute trailer, Crazy Taxi 2, Daytona USA 2001, Outrigger, and Confidential Mission. And that was it. That was number 20. Like I said, only 2 more came out after that. Only 1 more with any more demos on it. But yeah, so a nice little stack there of Dreamcast stuff to go through, which is quite good. A lot of repetition in there, because you've got like a rolling demo 1 disc, and then the next disc you can actually play it. But it might give me a chance to play through some of those games there and just see if there's anything that tickles me fancy, and I'll end up adding them to my very small Dreamcast collection. Not that I collect for the Dreamcast at all. As I mentioned a few videos ago when I did update my Dreamcast, you've only got to look at the things and they fall apart. But the cases, not the console, the cases, yeah. But yeah, so that was nice, a nice little pickup that was. Yeah, before I go any further, I just want to pay a quick tribute to a friend of mine. Some of you may know this because I mentioned it previously, but yeah, 16th of June this year, we lost my good friend Mark Holston. Mark was somebody I knew from going back to school. In fact, there's evidence that I knew him before high school. In fact, going back to preschool days with some things my dad found after my mum died. Because my mum used to work with the local, whether it's called play group back then. And Mark's mum's name was on the list of sort of designated parents to sort of contact details, and Mark was actually listed as one of the children alongside myself and various other people that I had no idea I knew at about age 3 or 4, but we did. And I don't remember, me and Mark went to different primary schools, and then at high school we were in the same year, and I didn't really know. We moved in different circles back then, and it was after we went to college and we all sort of split up, so I go to college and university and what have you, that well, 3 of us went off to university, and my mate Neil stayed round here, and he ended up being at the local college, carrying on doing a course, and Mark happened to be on that. And they were good friends anyway, but they re-established their friendships. So by the time we all come back from university or whatever, Mark was now sort of hanging around with Neil and whatever, and became part of what we did. So probably from about aged 19 onwards until about 40, 42, I would see a lot of Mark. He was a character. There's no doubt. He could drive you crazy. He really could drive you crazy. He could say some of the stupidest things possible, but he was an absolute salt of the earth bloke. He really was. The funeral we went to couple of weeks back now. I learnt more about him there than I think he ever told me, and I think quite a few people, having spoken to them afterwards, also knew more about him than he'd let on. There were certainly things that I was not aware, like he climbed, he did Snowdonia a couple of years back. I had no idea he did that. His first, the first girlfriend he had, serious girlfriend, said to him once that she'd never had anybody give her flowers, and she was working away in Bognor Regis at the time. Now I live in Birmingham. He actually managed to borrow his brother's car, drive all the way down to Bognor Regis just to give her some flowers. And if you hung around with him on a day-to-day basis, he won't mind me saying this because you'd never thought that of him. You never would have thought that of him. He was sometimes he was just a little bit weird. But we all came out of the service thinking, yeah, that was very Mark. You can't go to a cremation and expect to hear the Firestarter song because that was his karaoke song. And I think there was some sort of debate about whether or not they would actually do that, but they did. They did play it in there. Mark was he was 40? Yeah, 48. Just turned 48 when he passed away from a heart attack. Last year he'd suffered a stroke, which he'd recovered from. He passed away in his sleep due to a heart attack, which was very, very sad. And yes, it was a nice service and nice to catch up with my friends again. Some of them I see reasonably regularly, some of them I haven't seen for quite some time. It was a very, very sad day, but the reason I mention that is because Mark was a gamer. Mark was a gamer. There's a wonderful story they told at the service about when he and Neil were absolutely blind drunk, and they made Mark's brother drive all the way to a video rental shop, which is about 3 miles from here, to go and get a specific game. Neil couldn't remember which game it was, but yeah, a SNES game I think it was, to go and rent it out. Rent it out or buy it, I can't remember, but he insisted that his brother Dave drove him and Neil completely plastered to this place, and on the way back from there Mark threw up all over his car. But he was a gamer. I first played on an N64 at his house. He used to love playing Zelda. I think Majora's Mask, I think it was. He kept saying, "Oh, yeah, I spent the afternoon fishing." Because when I first started realising how big these games actually were, he would always go bowling at Rubery with a bowling alley, and it had an arcade in there and their own brewery, so it was great. You sort of, we used to go up on a Sunday afternoon and get hammered on a Sunday before going back to work on the Monday. And he would find the Star Wars arcade, the updated one. Again, probably going back into the late 90s, the 3 different levels with the attack on the Death Star. Then you had the Hoth base, and then the Return of the Jedi level, and he'd finish it every single time. And we just stand there watching him, and he'd do it every single time without fail, every week. But he loved his games. It's something he passed on to his son. There's a wonderful story again in the service, and I shan't bore you anymore about this. This is the last one I want to tell about Mark's one of his achievements. We managed to finish Cuphead, which I know is an incredibly difficult game to do. This was about 3-4 years ago, I think it was. 3 years ago. Anyway, he was rather proud of the achievement. He managed to do it, even though the fact his son, who was the age 9, had completed it before he had. But, gamer to the end. And he had some amazing stuff at one point. He really did. He had some really fabulous consoles. And it was nice. I'd not seen him for, I was trying to work it out, maybe 6-7 years. And the few times I've hooked up with my mates from school, I've always kept in contact with. He's never come out. He's either been doing something else or he's elsewhere, or he didn't feel like it. So I'd lost more or less touch with him for a few years, but it doesn't make it any more difficult. Yeah, he will be missed. He will be missed. He was definitely a character. So Mark, you will take your pride and place in the game room. I think it's more appropriate to stick you in here, actually, because it's just surrounded by games, really. And he'll always be sticking over my shoulder, which is rather worrying. We can keep John company up there, which is all right. But I just wanted to get that in. And just something that's been going on as well. Getting to that age now, I'm afraid. Anyway, as I mentioned at the start, I've got another second part of this video. We didn't want to release this, but do you know what? I think I just want to stick it on the end here and sort of give you an idea. Sometimes I had to do these things for myself. You can sit there and listen to it if you want to. I'll leave it up to you. That's the gaming pickups part of it done. This is the rest of it. But it's how I'm feeling. I recorded this 2 weeks ago. So where are we today? The 11th of August. So I recorded this just after the Olympics started. Second day, I think it was. And it still sums up my feelings. And there's a lot of other things which have been going on as well. I'm trying to get my head around stuff at the moment, and it's very, very difficult. What's probably not helping is the fact that I'm exhausted. I'm shattered. I've not had any real significant time off since April from work. So I've made the point of going in the week before last and just booking my holidays up for the rest of the year. Right, I'm having that week off, that time off there, and that time off there at Christmas. So I've actually got a very nicely planned out remaining couple of months, 4 months or so for the rest of the year. But I think mentally I'm exhausted, and I just need to stop working for the moment and just try and concentrate. There's things I want to do, but whether I'll get around to doing them or not, I don't know. So this sort of sums up that. I'm sort of in between. There are other things as well which I just can't fathom at the moment as well either. But and it's personally, and home life is fine. It's just there are just other things going on that's getting in the way at the moment, and you may sympathise, you may not, you may think I'm just rambling on again, which I am. Speaking of which, I'm going to stop talking now. Here's that video from 2 weeks ago. In the meantime, thanks very much for watching that bit. I won't see you at the end of the bit because I'm signing off on that one. So until then, enjoy what's coming up next. If not, I'll see you on the next video. I've been thinking recently. I've been actually doing a lot of thinking recently about stuff. Primarily what I'm surrounded by, really. And this is more ways. None of these videos I do and I just sort of like tell myself off. Anyway, hope you're well. Good to have you back, if you are back. If anybody's watching, I don't know. And it's just been just stuff going through my sort of head at the moment and where things are. And play more in 24. We started doing that at the end of last year. Retro Bear Christmas message. If you didn't see it, then obviously it's a bit late now. But the idea was this year, I did that video primarily to try and, more as not to tell everybody else, but more as a thing to me, play more games. Play more games. And it's not quite gone according to plan because I haven't played more games. Well, I have played more games than last year. I couldn't have played any less. But it's not quite gone as I'd like it to have done. And again, this is more down to my own self, my own sort of motivation, because it's not as if I haven't had the chance to do that. If I hadn't had the chance to do it, then fair enough, but I have. My routine is I get up, I go to work, I come home, I sit down, I check my tablet, I watch a bit of telly, I have my tea, I watch a bit more telly, and then I tend to sort of go to sleep. And there's time each evening to come and do videos, there's time up here to come and play games or whatever and do things. But I don't utilise that. Weekends are exactly the same. Weekends are the worst. Because Saturdays, I do not want to do anything on a Saturday. Come home on a Saturday, no, I don't really want to do anything. I wake up, I sit there, I tend to sit for most of the day, I stuff my face. Before you know it, it's Sunday. We might do a little bit on a Sunday. I mean, as I'm doing this, I'm filming this now, Mrs. Bear's in the garden doing a bit of weeding. And I may go and mow the lawns afterwards. Again, depending on how I feel. I don't really want to, but that's the way it is. And I could spend the rest of the day watching, playing some games, couldn't I? It's only 1:30 I'm recording this. But you know what's going to happen? I'm going to sit downstairs, the Olympics will be on, I'll sit down, I'll watch some mountain biking or some kayaking or whatever. And before you know it, the day's gone once again. And before you know it, Monday's rolled around and I'm back at work and the cycle starts once more. So I made a concerted effort last weekend to try and break that cycle, which was to get the Spectrum out. I thought, finally, I could do some play more in 24 and actually play some 8-bit stuff, because all the stuff I seem to be getting at the moment is 8-bit. I've got a pile of it down there, I've been accumulating for weeks now. And the reason it's sat there is because I've got nowhere to put it. The cupboards are full. Someone's got to give. So I'll get the Spectrum out. But of course the problem with the Spectrum is I can't connect that to the computer to record it. I could point a camera at the CRT, which I know some people do, and I'm not knocking anybody by saying this, but I just couldn't get a good enough picture without the flicking. If you don't know what I'm talking about, CRTs, the old televisions with the big backs on them, if you point a camera at them, you're going to get an interference on them. Modern TVs don't work like that, but old ones do. So I thought, I can't sit here with a camera just pointing that and there's a rolling line going up and down. It's just, you can't do a whole video, 40 minutes of 3 or 4 games doing that. It's just not watchable. So I couldn't do that. Even by having an AV cable plugged into the SCART. Not through RF, through SCART. It still just wasn't coming through. So I tried, other things. The only system I can do that with 8-bit wise is the Commodore. That's down in Commodore Corner. It's wedged in at the moment as inaccessible because of all Mrs. Bear's stuff in there that's taken over the workshop. I need to rescue the Commodore 64. But the problem is if I rescue the Commodore 64, it's going to sit up here, I'm not going to play anything else. So I couldn't record any 8-bit stuff, which really annoyed me. And the only way to do it is to get one of these multi-switch things which cost about £100. And I think, is it worth spending £100 just to be able to record stuff like that? Is it worth it? Is it worth buying some cables and just doing that? Because I've got this wonderful cable for the PlayStation 1, 2, Xbox, GameCube, SNES. I've got absolutely no problem at all with, because I can. This wonderful, I've got a clue where it's come from. This wonderful cable, which you plug into the back of either of those machines, which then goes to SCART into the CRT. But it's also got some composite cables on. Now with my recording facility, I've got piggyback cables, so I can plug those into the piggybacks, run it across. So that's what I was doing the PlayStation 2 light gun games. I was able to record that footage perfectly without needing to set up a camera in front of the CRT. It went straight through the computer. So Xbox, PlayStation 1, 2, SNES, GameCube, I can do loads of videos on those. Just sort of narrows it down a bit, doesn't it, And I'd love a cable like that for the 8-bit stuff. I'm going to get a cable that's got a SCART on it and a composite on it, and 3 connectors for the RGB to go in the back of those 3 computers. I'd love it. But no. They don't do such a thing, do they? So, yeah, it's really annoying. So that sort of dragged me down. I thought, well, I'm really failing miserably at that, aren't I? Playing more in 24. What a miserable effort that's been so far. And a lot of people have got involved in it. Well, I say involved in it. They've tagged the videos in. You know who you are. And some people have sort of taken that and thought, yeah, what a great idea. And it wasn't meant to start a revolution, Christ no. It wasn't meant to do anything like that at all. It was just, here's a video signposting myself. And if you want to join in, you're very welcome to do so. And I know some people said, oh yeah, what a great idea, I'll try and do that. Some people said, well, I'm not going to start filming stuff and put it on YouTube, which I didn't want people to do. Just wanted people to play more games. More so, just don't sit there and look at it, play it. But then I think I'm such a bloody hypocrite, because it's the last thing I really want to do at the moment. Really, the last thing I want to do is sit down and do that. And then that's the other thing I've been thinking about. I mean, am I still in love with doing this? This collecting lark? It's weird. I'm having mixed feelings. I'm sort of thinking, do you know what? Could I probably stop buying stuff? Probably, yeah. I could do. Would I miss buying stuff? Probably. But if you've got a disease or an addiction like we have to buy stuff like that, then that's what it is. Could I get rid of it? See, I'm quite attached to it. That's the problem. do I need all this? Do I need to keep adding things like it? And it's just got all these questions sort of ticking through my mind thinking about it. I thought, I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. I really don't know. I can't, it stopped me asking you. It's not me asking you to think about it and tell me about it. It's not for me to ask you to give me the solution, because there isn't a solution. But the one thing in life I've always been told is, if you if you love something, you stop loving doing it, stop doing it. And that seems to be the thing. I don't know. Doing this. I love doing this. I love doing this. I know nobody watches anymore, but I love doing it. I say nobody watches anymore. No, people. That's not entirely true. That's me being sarcastic. People do watch, and I've always appreciated people do watch, but nobody new watches. So I'm talking to the same people each time, which is great. But very, very few new people do watch. I know the argument is, we should do more videos, and what's the point in chucking out videos when nobody, what's the point in doing a video for the sake of doing a video? Why am I doing this? I don't know. Just trying to get it off my chest and out of my head. I think that's what it is, and I can sort of move on to the next thing that's depressing me. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I mean, it's not saying I don't like all this, because I do like all this. But I think at the moment I'm a bit of a fraud. I think I'm just sort of somebody who's now, every single one of these is a Ming vase. I need another Ming vase for my collection. Or, I'm collecting stamps or thimbles. I need another stamp for my collection. Or 10 stamps. Or a box of stamps, if you saw the tap box video. Don't know. I'm not sure what it is. Watch this space. Nothing might change. I just might carry on. But, yeah, I don't know.